We've had a huge number of children now starting to play hockey in our clubs alone. So we've got lots more young people playing hockey now. So we have to make sure that they're getting a really rich experience. So what we have here is about 60 boys of ages between about 10 and 12 to 13 on one pitch, and what we have done is allowed them all to have a very rich experience of hockey despite having a lot of them. We've got 4 areas, all of the children are playing. They have helpers with them that aren't necessarily well versed in hockey at all, may not have even seen the game of hockey, but it doesn't matter. So this session here, we have a helper. So he's not a hockey person, but he's quite comfortable running something like this that I've set up. 2 teams. One team is trying to score in the goal. If they score, they get to go again. They have to bring the ball outside the 5-metre line, and then they go again. If the red team get it, they bring the ball outside the 5-metre line, and then they can attack. So it's a continual attack to the goal. They're all getting lots of touches. It's very much like a game because you can win the ball back if you lose it. So they're having lots of fun as well, as you can see. So this one here we've split into 2 sub-games. So we've got a 3v3 and a 4v3. Now it doesn't matter if we have different numbers, because very often coaches and helpers are very concerned about having a 4v4 or a 6v6. It really doesn't matter. In fact, you could even experiment further with that. Why not have a 4v2? As long as they both get a go at having the 4, they won't complain. So we have 2 different games here, and what happens here is they have an end zone. So they have to get into the end zone, which is marked off with throwdowns. Then they can turn around and attack the other end zone. So they're changing direction very quickly, and the players have to respond to that. So it's very game-like, and they've got lots of things to think about. So it's very decision-rich. So this is quite a busy one. We've got 4 gateways. The players can go into any gateway to score a point in any way they like. The only rule is they're not allowed to go through the same gateway twice consecutively. So what we have here is an element of chaos, which is really good for their learning and good for their self-organising. But the best thing about this is that it's really variable. So they've got to constantly react to different distances, different threats, different opportunities. So it's very decision rich, and as you can see, they're having a really good time. So in this 4th quarter, we have 3 teams playing. So we've got 3 teams in a similar space. One team is feeding the ball to the other 2 teams, and then whoever gets it can go on goal and attack. Now one team is less active than the other 2 because they're feeding, but that doesn't really matter because they're getting such a quick turnover of this, they're not staying still for very long. Really good excitement levels here, they're really enjoying themselves and they're getting very competitive. What we're going to do now is look at how we move this on and make it a little bit more dynamic, but still involving 3 teams to manage our space. Red team, you're going to defend to begin with, but everybody gets a turn. Okay, reds to begin with. Orange are going to come and attack against you. If you get the ball, red, you have to get it over to blues.
Can we pass it?
Definitely, you can pass it or you can dribble it, but here's the problem. As soon as you've done that, blues are going to attack you. And you still have to defend. So I'm a teacher and a club coach. We're often faced with these problems, which are big numbers on a smallish space, differing abilities, and how do we meet their needs? How do we make sure that they have loads of fun and they are challenged, all of them, and get plenty of touches of the ball? We certainly don't want all of them on one big pitch playing one big game of hockey. The golden thread is basically a framework for good practice, and that is that it's really good fun. They're enjoying themselves, it's a positive experience. and they're getting lots of touches of the ball. They're being stretched, so they're challenged mentally and physically, and they're in game-like situations, so they're making lots and lots of decisions. And that is the golden thread. If you find one of those bits of the golden thread missing, then there's probably part of that session that you can address by making sure you are providing that little bit.